There's. All right, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So the benefit of this, I think, is like I heard you talking on the news and stuff for like little sound bites.
Right.
They're little sound bites. This is uninterrupted. You get to say whatever you want. You get to talk as long as you want. There's no anybody. If anybody's interrupting you, it's gonna be like, "Hey, will you further clarify what you just said for me?"
Gotcha.
You know. So I feel like this would be a good platform for
Awesome.
you. That's why I wanted to have you on.
I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
Well, so Wesleigh, what year did you graduate, man?
2011.
2011. Okay, so were you in the same grade as my wife?
No, she graduated in, I believe, 10. So
2010.
she was
Okay, yeah. Okay, she said she knows you. Like I said, I know kind of some of your other siblings,
Yeah.
your dad worked at a Ford place forever.
Right.
Is he still work there?
He's still there.
Hell yeah.
Still moving along, man.
Dude, he was like I sold cars for a couple of years, and he
Okay.
was the big baller back in the day. Like,
Hell yeah.
like I would say the number one guy in
For
that
sure.
town.
Yeah, no, he's still kicking, man.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, right on, dude. So let's talk about some activism
Right.
that you've been involved with.
Right.
Okay, so did that story? So you procured, like anybody else could, a banner space across the bridge where they put up the Christmas lights and all sorts of stuff like that, and that became this big controversial thing. Did that hit national news?
There's a few things that went out nationally. A few pictures or so of the event, but as far as the rally, I don't think any of that went to national news.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just the lead up.
Yeah, the lead up as well. Yeah.
In state news for sure.
Oh, yeah.
It became a big story locally, but statewide.
The governor was talking about it. I mean, it was a big deal. Yeah.
What the governor said about it?
He was asked a question about how it was going to go this weekend about COVID and this and that. So he had to respond on that. But he was just saying, just make sure we keep our distance and this and that. So nothing particularly towards the movement, but just how to keep safe, really.
Yeah. So, but man, it is. So just to clarify, the banner, why it was controversial, says Black Lives Matter,
Right.
which they do.
Yeah, obviously.
Dude, the funniest thing I've seen, just a sidebar here, is all boats matter. Okay.
Right.
Have you seen like those boats sank in the Trump parade? This meme's been going around. I love your hat, but make racism wrong again.
Right. That's what it's about.
That dude, and I'm all about that. And I would say, and I like being open with this. Like when I was even growing up in Clarksville, we're from the same town. Right. It was like there wasn't, like, I didn't see all this overt racism, but like just simple little taboo things that I don't think should be taboo, like interracial marriage and stuff like that. Like, I sort of grew up thinking just because everybody would be like, that's a taboo thing. We don't do that. And like now that I've gone to school and started teaching history and got a college education and a master's degree and learned about the history of the civil rights movement, my empathy level for just knowing, from going to being a little kid, this is what I like, being 8 years old, and you know what was sold at the Peach Festival in the courthouse in mass? Confederate propaganda symbols. And it's like, dude, I had no idea.
Right there in front of us, man. Yeah.
And like, so I'm a kid and I'm just thinking, oh, that's a cool symbol. Like there's this movie, Gettysburg. It comes on TV. It's about the Civil War. And I just like, until you really get out of school not knowing.
Yeah, that's correct for sure.
And then now, like, having gone through the history of the Civil War at a higher level of education, I have a master's degree in history, and I've been doing learning about this idea of this lost cause myth. Are you familiar with that?
Not.
Oh, dude, this is why. So, like, our parents' generation in this state was taught this version of the Civil War history that's a myth. It's made up.
Okay.
Dude, it's called the lost cause myth. Now, here was the issue that stopped being taught in like the 80s and 90s. But all the teachers at the like K-12 level that had been taught that were still teaching, right? And then also all of the people from like my parents' generation, that's what they learned. When my aunt was in 8th grade at Johnson County Westside, that's when they made it Johnson County Westside. It was Hartman before then. And that's when they were like, fuck it, we're making the mascot the Westside Rebels. Wow. Right? And you just like grow up with this stuff seeming normal, and then you learn like, oh, hey, by the way, the Confederacy was built on the cornerstone. The foundation is slavery. Right. That is what the vice president of the Confederacy said, right? Like our state flag, I got a podcast that'll come out right after yours where we talked about the state flag. That star at the top of the Arkansas flag is a star of the Confederacy.
Wow.
Not even a flag until 1920, dude.
Didn't know. The current flag.
Current flag.
Wow.
So when you see that, like when I was working out at Focus Fitness this morning, and I saw that flying at a church. Because it's just a state flag. I mean, why wouldn't you show your Arkansas patriotism, right? But so Southern states taught this lost cause myth that said that the only reason there's any debate about the Civil War being fought over slavery is because of this lost cause myth ideology. So it's becoming aware of that. It has made me.
That's strange, man. I did not know that.
Look into it. I can send you some articles and stuff, and I'll show you a dank meme I made while we're on the topic here. You know those Leonardo DiCaprio memes?
I haven't seen.
Like it's so like Django Unchained is the. Like that meme that's floating around, right?
Yeah.
So that's just what I hit people with. They're like, Civil Wars fought over states' rights. I'm like, states' rights to do what, bro? Own slaves.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Like recently, somebody told me I keep getting into debates with people about this, just trying to be like, hey, you don't have to listen to me. Read the secession letters. Yeah. The historian is on my podcast last week. He's like, people don't need to listen to us. The people who were there left us
plenty of history.
The sources. Right. And 83 times slavery is mentioned as a primary cause in the secession letters of the Southern states. 83 times. Gracious. Right? But yet just a few weeks ago, somebody that's kind of close to me, they are close to me, unfortunately. And it's like one of those people I just can't cancel out.
Distance, yeah.
But now I'm just like, okay, yeah, we don't talk as much right now. Right. But it's like, yeah, well, Civil Wars fought over taxation. And they said this. They're like, well, I think that slaves were better off here than in Africa. And I was just like, oh, dude. Really? So like not having control of your reproductive system, of anything, nothing. Getting sold away from your family. What is family? Like it's this thing that breaks up.
Yeah. Being sold off. Yeah.
So the descendants of that in this country, like a friend of mine I work with, a historian, he's like, Native Americans are our favorite minority. Mm-hmm. And I don't get I comment on that a lot too, right? Especially around the Civil War, because they got really – Confederacy is like, join our side, and kind of talked a lot of the tribes into it. Right. And then they flip-flop. But that was definitely an ethnic group that was negatively impacted by the Civil War. But the narrative around that and the empathy that I feel like most people have towards that culture is in a direction that it should be headed. Mm-hmm. Whereas it's like we are not there with I just heard this mnemonic device say American descendants of slavery, right? Because that is like that's the specific group. Yes, all minorities in this country need equal treatment, and they need it fucking now.
That's what we're fighting for.
And dude, that's where I'm at. And then I'm like, but particularly this group, because it's like, how far can you get in this system we're in? You can get far. You can bootstrap it up. I mean, fucking Andrew Jackson, who removed the Native Americans, was an orphan and got sliced across the face with a sword in the Revolutionary War when he was a kid. All sorts of crazy shit. And he grows up, becomes a president.
Wow.
So that's possible.
Yes, it can be done.
But I bet if his great-grandpappy was a slave, it would have been way fucking harder.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's where I'm at with it. And how,
we got a problem.
We have a problem, and that is why the banner, that's why the slogan. I mean, so like tell me where you're at. I've been rambling on about this shit to try and
know, man.
So what inspired you to do this?
What inspired me really to do this? A guy on my Facebook, he posted something that made me feel unequal. Um, he said something about that's what made blacks look worse. Okay, so where are we bad to begin with? Is what was going through my head. Like, where's the start of us being bad? If this makes us look worse, whatever topic we're talking about. So
was this around the George Floyd stuff?
Yeah. This is right around that time that he posted this, talking about the protesters looting and rioting.
Plenty of white people doing that shit. Like it's like they're conveniently waiting until it's like, okay, was this white person back over in the corner? But okay, we got the picture
right here. Yep. And with that being said, what you just said, even the people in Clarksville expected us blacks, the people that support the rally, they expect us to be, be the bad ones, be the ones that come out and start all the problems. Where if you seen the video of me getting hit, that wasn't me that started that. I walked across the street and a guy just swung on me out of nowhere. So they're the ones starting the problems, and then they're gonna go back home and post on their pages that, oh, he came over here all acting tough and this and that. No, that ain't the case. You always want to make us look like the bad ones, but that ain't ever the case in most of these instances. But
So you had a rally, it went off without a hitch. I was there. I walked with you guys. Facebook Live, the whole thing on my podcast page. And I was there on Saturday, right? So, but I was very happy with how there weren't people. I didn't see anybody that had an AR pointed towards me. Whereas right when there was George Floyd protest here in Russellville, I went to those, and there were people with ARs out everywhere, right? And that was frustrating to me. And like everybody that I told I was going to this rally was like, yo, Brian, be careful, man. Be careful out there. I'm like, but let's clarify who they're telling me to watch out for, not you.
Right.
It's like, hey, they're going to be these white supremacists out there flying Confederate flags and shit.
Yeah, that's good.
And they're like, watch out for that. Like, we're worried that those people are going to be out. But yet there's this other narrative where those people that are out think that you are a communist. And how have you had your character assaulted pre-march?
Pre-march.
I mean, you got punched in the face on the news.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. People love to bring up my background. That's
common.
That's very common.
You ever read To Kill a Mockingbird?
No, I haven't. Not into too many books.
But. Okay, so you might be. I never was either, and now I do audiobooks, dude. I've done 70 this year.
Wow, that's
like
awesome.
I've never read like 70 books in my whole life, man. Honestly, like when I was in graduate school and shit, I read probably that many books, but I skimmed them. I didn't read them word for word.
Right.
That's like a tactic they teach you in graduate school.
Oh, okay.
But the Emmett Till story,
we've all heard about it.
That is the common thread. Did you talk to that white woman?
Exactly.
Did you?
Yeah.
Because if you did, that's a punishable lynching offense.
Yeah.
Or you're going to get put on trial. And so many times, so that's the backdrop of To Kill a Mockingbird, is that it's about a lawyer, a prominent lawyer in a town where it's very much like this side of the tracks, that side of the tracks.
Gotcha.
And this one really poor white family accuses this black man of raping one of the daughters, which let's just say didn't happen. But he gets put on trial, gets found guilty, goes to prison, tries to escape, gets shot. Hate to ruin it for you. But it's a very worthy listen because that's the most important thing about it to me, is because so many times that's the story for these.
That's how it ends up for us, man. That's just part of it, man.
Yeah. So you're. You tell me about your back. Like, where'd they hit you with that? Like, if you don't mind talking about it.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind at all. But, I just wanted to pull up my past. Obviously, I'm married to her now, but let's not even get into that. We were dating in high school, and got in a little trouble. She got pregnant, and we're both high school students, mind you, as I just said. But both high school students, and I got a little charge against me because she was a little bit too young, and we were dating prior to me being 18. We were dating, and then after the fact, I turned 18, and I'm supposed to stop dating her, I guess. and then redate after. I don't get it, but yeah, they hit me with that, and got charged with it. And
was that like so I guess I saw a Facebook post from your father-in-law, and you guys are tight. I mean,
we're good now. We're
okay,
good now.
but at the time was like, let's say, like, if I was raised to think that that's taboo, and now I'm like, bullshit. It's like, I wonder what he thought. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it's just like everybody says racism is taught, that knows, but some people deny racism exists.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah. But it is very much taught. And then I think through like this right here, I'm like, oh, this dude's cool. Yeah. He's just a normal guy like me.
Right. But
so many people have been told otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's just like some things with not to get like but like basic questions people have about religion or something. Mm-hmm. Like, what about that? What about that? And you want explanations. It's like that. Like, I remember hearing like, well, why is it a taboo thing for these two people? What if they love each other? You know, like being like 12 years old or some shit, thinking that. And it's like, well, it's just, you know, it would be terrible for both those people because people in society are racist, and like, which sadly is true, but that shouldn't be the reason or excuse. Yeah. So, but you hear these things, and then you hear these like empty justifications for it, but it's like, I just can imagine that compounding, like going back generations of like my parents' generation, and then like even people 10 years older than me, people who were graduating high school in 1990. Like, my dad graduated high school in like 77 or some shit. But it's like, we didn't even stop teaching this super racist version of the Civil War in the South, and like I said, until the 80s or 90s.
That blows my mind.
Dude, you gotta look into this, man.
The Lost Cause.
The Lost Cause. So I've been doing, my buddy Thurman, he and I came to the march together. He's a historian also. We've been doing a series of podcasts about, so you heard of Gone with the Wind, right?
Yeah. I heard
so that's like, that's it, dude. That's like the Lost Cause Bible, dude. Like, we've been doing a series of podcasts over Lost Cause mythology in film. Because even though it went away from the history books, there's so too much is not told to people who are in K-12, in my opinion. And then even though it went away, it's prevalent. There's all these living people who were taught it. It's in film everywhere. Gone with the Wind, Gettysburg, Gods and Generals, like all of these different movies we've been podcasting about that were like coming out when I was a kid, some of them. You know, so it's just a great way to raise awareness. That's why, like I was saying, like, hey, anytime you want to come, consider it a platform. You know, because this is a longer form version of getting your ideas out.
Absolutely. Which
is very important. So how much older are you than your wife, if you don't mind asking?
Depends on how I mean, if you look at it by year born, it's 4. If you look at it by actual months, it's like 3.5.
Oh, dude, that's nothing. I'm 5 years older than Cora. You know what? And two, like, I had a similar incident, right? So here I am. Like, I was working in the fucking car business, dude. I'm out of high school. I, like you, I think Cora told me you are the same age, but you were a grade behind her.
Yeah, right.
Same for me, dude. Because my parents homeschooled me until 8th grade for these weird religious reasons, and which is fine.
Yeah.
But then I go to school and I get held back a grade. So, and then like Cora and I went to church together, dude. I played guitar in the church band and shit, and like that's where we met, you know. And then like, I'm not even gonna lie, dude. When she walked in the door for the first time, I was super attracted to her, then I like found out that she was like 12 or 13 years old, and I was like, well, fuck, you know. But then like I never really talked to her. Like, we just kind of became friends, and then after I graduated high school and she was like in high school, we hung out one time, and her mom freaked out about it. Wow. Who's not my mother-in-law. But I'm like at least 5 years older than her. Sometimes it's like more than 5, I think.
Yeah.
I can't really like, but
years match up,
yeah. So like she was, she was younger than me, and but dude, when she turned 18, we started dating and have been together ever since. And she's 28 years old now.
Yeah, man.
And we own this business, and
yeah.
She's a world champion kickboxer and all sorts of shit. So it worked out.
Yeah. had my problems there, man. But it's all good. We're all on the same page now. Our parents are cool with it, so we're all good.
That's great. You know, I wonder this. I wonder this about everything. The only difference, I think, in my story and your story is that you're black.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or however you want to, a person of color, right? You know.
And it wasn't the fact that we were just dating. I mean, we were
you conceived,
yeah, we conceived. So
yeah, well,
but
we're trying to conceive right now. Hopefully, nobody arrest me or anything. You know what I'm saying?
And then the funny thing is, though, man, there's a white guy going through the exact same thing that I was going through at the same time. We're keeping up with each other's court cases. You know, I was asking him after school. We went to the Marvin Vinson, you know, the local gym there in Clarksville. We went to Marvin Vinson, and we always talked about our problems. You know, like, hey, you know, how's your court case going? You know, how's your going? And the white guy ended up getting out of it. And that's when I realized, you know,
system stuff.
Yeah, the system is not for me, you know, at all.
Dude, and in ways, that's why I can't even fathom it, dude. I can't fathom how much more it's not for you because it's not for me either. Like, I didn't come from any family money, and like, dude, to acquire this
right
was like the most stress. Like, dude, 10 years of my life gone, and like we owned a building before we bought this one.
You were talking, yeah.
And the city was just like, we're not going to let you get any bigger. Like, we're like, yeah. Oh, you want to build on your own property? We're going to make you put in $30,000 worth of this and $100,000 worth of that. And like, it drove me up from like, all the contractors were like, we can do this for like $200,000. And then with all of the city shit, it was like $460,000. Wow. They're like, we want you to put a bike lane and a sidewalk and a curb and a gutter and all this stuff. I was like, your parking's going to have. So we just kept compromising, coming back with these other architectural plans. Like, hey, we should do it this way. Like, I talked to the contractors. They said we could do it this way. They're like, no, you're doing it. But what had happened is they'd illegally zoned our property, our zone.
Right.
Twice since I'd bought it. I'd never received any. I would have showed up and been like, hey, you can't rezone this. Mm-hmm. That's all I had to do. Yeah. But they never notified me they were doing it.
Wow.
Twice.
Wow.
So that we got moved to like the strictest zone in the city because it was over by tech. Mm-hmm. But what that does is that blocks people, right? Like, that keeps people in this weird service of a lease, right? All these people that had businesses that are leasing got like no help during the COVID pandemic, right? We owned, or buying, so we got maximum help, right? So that's another thing. It's just like, to get to this phase, now it's like I'm in this weird phase with a business, super successful. We have almost 300 members. But dude, I paid not this last year and then the year before, I paid almost 50% of my income in taxes. Because payroll tax, use tax, local 1 cent, all this stuff, right? And I'm just like, and then pay in at the end of the year, pay quarterly tax, all this stuff. And it's like, it's stacked against me in that way too. And then it's like, man, that's like, it's just very difficult being a business owner. It's like, there's this sort of factory mentality of, you get forced to, even me, dude. I'm like working at a university, an institution, so I can have insurance and pay back my student loans and all this other bullshit. Right. It's an interesting little world we're in.
It is, man. It's interesting for sure.
But dude, I think that this is it too, dude. Fuck all those people. You got to find your allies. You got to find your people that are like-minded, and I don't say take over is a good word, but like, dude, you got your place like anybody else. Like, you can have a rally, you can hang a banner.
Yeah, I'm no different from anyone else.
No, and if I did any of that shit for like, if I was like trying to hang a Forza banner up, no, there's everybody's painting "I Heart Russellville" all over everything because this town is super divided over the casino, over medical marijuana, over all this shit. Yeah. And the church is running all the politics, you know. But it's just interesting, but it's like, I feel like very much so there is a system of oppression in place for most people. Oh, yeah, and then it's like you disseminate, yes, but you disseminate out, it's like, why? And then it gets worse for, oh, you're a minority. Oh, you're poor. Oh, it's like system rigged against you type of, and I feel that way.
Oh yeah,
and I'm
that's
successful.
Good that you do. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that's good that you do. Man, it's just it's tough, man. It's a tough world. It's a tough world.
It is, but at least we have each other.
Yes, we do.
Okay, so what kind of blowback did you get
for the banner itself?
For the banner itself, like still pre. I know you got your character assaulted, which is very unfortunate. I don't look. I had to. I was like, I got to tell my story with Cora, dude.
Yeah. I don't care.
Because I figured,
man, I really don't.
I don't. It's
bring it up.
Exactly. It's stupid, and like I bring it up for just the comparison, and But you got your character assaulted. You got punched in the face by this old racist redneck looking dude. What else went on pre-March that like was making you nervous, or like, because I'm gonna tell you, dude, I was nervous, but then I was super happy that I wasn't fearing my safety while I was there, and I don't really usually fear my safety.
Well, actually, a buddy of mine, a friend from a long time, called me over his house and was like, "Hey, man, you might want to put out a video, letting people know what this is really about. You might want to put out something letting people know that, hey, we ain't here for violence, because these guys come down from Harrison, they're militia. So here I am.
One of those crazy assholes are right here in Russellville.
I thought they were going to be coming from Russellville
I did
the whole
too.
time.
I couldn't believe they weren't there.
Yeah, I couldn't either. That was strange. But there was a few people there, but they're mostly peaceful. But anyway, he's called me over like, hey, you got to put this video out, man. Let people know what this is about, because I have a feeling it's going to get rough. And actually, he was talking about, maybe calling it off, calling it good, just dealing with the banner, and that was it, no rally. I was like, man, I can't do that. I gotta get this thing going, man. It'd be big for the community. So we stuck with it, but that was one thing that kind of had me, a little fearful, because all the stuff he was saying, people were coming in from out of state. I thought it was gonna be a big deal, but obviously you were there.
That busing shit from out of state, I think that is a rumor historically
for
propagated from white supremacists, man.
And for both sides, really. I heard it with Black Lives Matter. I mean, I heard people were going to be busting in the rally we had down there from Little Rock. I mean, people just making up stuff just to start stuff is all it's about, man. That's all it's about. Yeah. Just making up different things that cause problems.
So friend of yours worried about you. What, a family worried about you? Wife worried?
Oh yeah.
Did you get death threats and shit?
Oh man, not death threats, but I had people calling for blood for sure. People was once they put my address out, on
they doxed you. Oh, they put your address out.
God.
Fuck.
Man, they put my address, my phone number, my everything.
Did anybody drop by and do anything to your house?
No, they didn't. But I had some people that wanted to come talk, and they already knew where I was because of my address. So people actually got a hold of me and came out and talked to me about the issue at hand. So
you had people with differing opinions show up to your fucking house?
Yeah. I don't want to put no names out there, but I had a couple people come out and talk, and
were they aggressive?
No, we came, walked out, shook hands, and both gave our side of the story.
Dude, good job, man. Like, I tell you, man, I get fucking passionate talking about this shit.
Yeah.
And it's very hard for me not to be like, you racist motherfucker, I want to beat your ass. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, that is not going to achieve anything.
Nothing.
But it's like, it is an emotional issue. So hats off to you for handling it that way.
For sure, man. Yeah, we had some good conversations, man. The guy that came out and talked about it, man. We both ended the day somewhat on the same page. So that was good.
Yeah. So how do you explain what you're doing to people? Because there's the narrative of like what you said, like Black Lives Matter is this criminal Marxist organization, and they have paid protesters, all of this bullshit that I don't think any of it's true. But historically, anytime white people have wanted more equality, they've been called communist, like Marxist, all of these things, a sexual assault, like whatever it is, they're going to attack character. What this came up last week on the podcast is like, accusing someone of sexual assault or some sort of offense like that is one of the fastest ways to incite mob violence, mob level mentality.
I agree. Yeah.
Right.
And that was another thing. That was another reason why I thought it was going to end up going south because of the past that was brought up. I was like, man, they're going to try to come at me. They're going to call me this and that. They're going to have signs, post and ban. Yeah, I was prepared for that, but obviously it didn't get bad. But I was definitely prepared for all the backlash coming from that, for sure.
So how do you explain Black Lives Matter to people? Like, oh, you're talking to this guys at your house, and you're not getting emotional, but like, how do you explain it to them in a way that can result in some common ground?
No, come again.
Like, so how do you explain the concept of Black Lives Matter to an All Lives Matter person?
Okay.
It like just kind of that contrast. Well, all lives matter.
Well, just them 3 words alone, man. It should tell you. It's not about the organization. Take the organization out of it.
Boom. Yes.
It's about them 3 words. Black Lives Matter. Period. And all lives cannot matter until Black Lives Matter. If all lives matter, then all lives should matter. And Black lives aren't mattering right now. We got to get on the same page. We got to stop the police brutality. The injustice in within the system. We got to stop all that before we can all get on that same page, and that's when all of us can matter. Then your words will be right. All lives will matter at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing how like people do that all lives matter bullshit.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, and too, I will say like the very first time in like 2015, I think it was, that I heard the phrase Black Lives Matter, I was like, well, duh.
Yeah.
Of course, because that was my reality.
Yeah.
I thought that they mattered, and I couldn't fathom. I'm like, why are they? Is this like what? I think Whitney said this at the Saturday rally. She's like, this isn't black supremacy. Right. This is equality. That's all. Mm-hmm. But exactly. that's a. I think people may be confused the two, but it's like, well, fuck. I don't like white supremacy at all, but it exists. So if black supremacy wants to exist, everybody needs to shut the fuck up about it. Right? Like and it has existed in various forms, and that's fine. That's fine with me. I would much, and I think that it's like, could you argue you wouldn't see that without, that's a response to white supremacy. Mm-hmm. So it's a weird back and forth, man. Yeah. It's
but we're not a supremacist type of group,
exactly.
That's not the case. I mean,
and people just automatically go to that.
Yeah, but we're mixed with all types of people. I mean, blacks, Asians, whites. I mean, you see the KKK; they don't have any blacks in within their group. I mean, it's a mixed group trying to fight for equality. You guys are joining us to fight for us to be equal, which we appreciate. But you don't see that within the KKK.
Yeah, man, I was happy. How was the Sunday turnout?
It was all right. A lot of less people there, but that's where most of us got our stories out. Mm-hmm. That first day was just kind of an introduction type day, but that second day is when we got our stories out and started talking about what type of issues we faced within the city, and what we want to improve within the city as well, as far as the future. So,
what are some things you'd like to improve?
Well, obviously, From me growing up, I don't know of any government officials that were black, mayor, city council members, or any teachers. I don't remember any of this. Calling for more diversity is what I'm calling.
Yeah, dude. When I was like, there were just no people of color. Like there was like Ariel Daughtry and York and Calvin, but York moved away and moved here and then moved away and moved here again. I don't remember. He was always back and forth.
Yeah.
And then there was Billy and Quentin, and then like Gary and Victor, but they were like with the big tall dude, Corey.
Yeah.
And those guys were all a couple years older than me, but it was just like a couple of people in every grade.
Right.
And dude, I remember. So like when I mentioned Nick Lyons, earlier, right? I remember when he moved here, him and Quentin became like best buds. Yeah. But then I remember hearing about this weird phone call of like Quentin's mom and Nick's mom, who's now passed away, rest in peace, were talking about like, hey, is it cool for our kids to hang out? Is that cool right here? We just moved here. We don't know. I mean, we're fine with it. Are you fine with it? Great. And it's like just the fact that
conversation came
it should never have to go on.
No.
Like, and I saw these things when I was growing up, and I had no context for it. I didn't know about the Lost Cause myth. I didn't know what the Civil War was fought over. Right. I knew that slavery was involved and at the backdrop, but it's it's just like over time piecing together the narrative and then looking at the correlation between what's happened and what's happening.
Yeah.
A cause and effect relationship. And you ever see Eyes on the Prize?
No.
Oh, dude. It's so good. Okay, so it's a civil rights documentary. It starts with like Emmett Till and Little Rock Nine and stuff like that. And it is some of the best footage. It goes all the way through to the 70s after the assassination of Martin Luther King. It's on, most of it is on YouTube. So, oh man, like it's so much great history. Eyes on the Prize. Like when Thurman shared like a photo or something of the rally, the guy who went with me, and he hashtagged that. Eyes on the Prize. Because for us being historians, we're like, that is one of the things that delivered some of the empathy on me, man, of like you just sitting there and you're hearing this history from this like mentor or professor, whoever's teaching me this stuff. And then you're seeing this documentary and you're just like, oh my God, these people had to deal with that. Somebody thought that this acid in the pool was going to burn these people up, and they poured it in there on TV. It's just, it's a weird time. I haven't seen the amount of, me personally, I have not been cognizant of the right amount of racial unrest in this country. And historically, I would say now and 1968 are the 2 years, both election years. But that Eyes on the Prize will have a segment that goes in tonight. That's the year Martin Luther King Jr. is assassinated. That's the year Bobby Kennedy is assassinated. We've been doing a series of podcasts on that year. Oh, wow. Because there's riots outside of the Democratic National Convention. LBJ, who dropped more N-bombs on tape in the White House than you would care to know, decides that the country's so divided, he's not rerunning for election. Wow. Right? This is a dude who got the Civil Rights Acts passed in 64 and 65. Like, there was such a divide. Was Kennedy gets assassinated. He comes in, takes over Kennedy's term, then gets elected, then doesn't rerun. He can stay in for 4 more years, doesn't do it. Nixon comes in, right? Vietnam's at the backdrop of all this. More black people are getting plugged into Vietnam than white people. So it's, dude, that history of the Eyes on the Prize goes into that. It, like little manageable chunks of like 3 or 4 years here, the freedom rides. Mm-hmm. Dude, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it, bro. Like, it's great. I will never grow tired of watching it. I show the one, I think it's the second episode that goes into Arkansas. Okay.
I'll definitely check that out.
It's good, man.
On YouTube?
Good. On YouTube. Okay. Yeah. I would almost, man, I wonder if we could like work a podcast out of it. Yeah. Right. Cause we watch shit on the podcast, but watch it and maybe we could talk about it in the future. For sure. But it is, it's eye opening. Dude, I get emotional when I watch it too. Cause it's just like, man, they're saying they're still experiencing the same thing. And that's tragic.
And you say it's still going on, the same stuff that was going on then is going on today? Nothing's changed.
Yes. Like it's kind of, dude, it's weird. It's like, I would say this. That era I was just mentioning is like then to now is like somebody hit the pause button. Wow. And then right now, recently, 2015 or something, somebody was like,
let's turn it back on.
Let's turn that shit back on. Wow. And it literally, I do, and this is, I've talked to a couple of friends about this. It seems like by the mid 70s, the civil rights movement, for no apparent reason, or well, apparent reasons, but kind of went on pause, fizzled out or whatever. But the prize didn't happen. The prize is equality, right? The prize is these issues don't happen anymore in this country because we made progress. And progress was made, but it's like, man, like I said, we're in a time where we are divided. So much so that I got to worry about walking to the courthouse in my hometown where they used to sell Confederate shit. Yeah. I'm sure they still do.
Oh, yeah. I see it all the time. Every Peach Festival, it's going to be there.
Sure. How does that make you feel?
It's tough, man. Seeing that in my hometown, these same people used to cheer for me. I feel
you were a star athlete, right?
I was okay at football. But yeah, these same people used to cheer for me, man. I used to stay in a lot of these people's houses.
That's how I knew who you were. Is because your brother. How old is your brother?
He's 20. He's 30. He's turned 30 this year.
So he's 3 years younger than me. So when I was like, he was a star, I think, or we thought he was going to be a star in junior high when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Right. And then it was like, well, he's this good. He's got a little brother coming up. Like, he's going to be that good. Like, that was, y'all were, this guy gets stereotyped in, like, they're going to be our next guys. But that's how, like, I never really remember watching you play or anything, but I remember always hearing you guys were on the come up.
Yeah, it was all right, man. We had some good games, man.
Yeah.
Fun times for sure.
What spot you play?
Running back and receiver.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I see Nick. Who I mentioned, he was tailback on my senior
I used
team.
to look up to that guy, man. That was one of the guys I used to look up. Him and Kramer's. And,
yeah.
Seeing them in front of me,
Justin.
killing it. You know, you gotta looking up to him for sure.
Yeah. Oh man, that was fun times.
Yeah.
That's why, dude, I love that I got into martial arts after high school because it gave me something else to do. It this is my team down here. You know, I got 300 people here with me. Yeah. And of all ages, but a lot of adults that share the same interests. So and we go compete and shit. So it's awesome.
Yeah, it's nice out here, man.
Sure. Yeah. Where were we before we got distracted on that? Sorry, I got off on a tangent there. Why did we start talking about football? Good thing it's not live. Anyway. I can't believe they doxed your address, dude.
Yeah, man.
That's bullshit.
Put all that out there. And it actually wasn't the city that did it. It was Clarksville Light and Water, out of all people. They're the ones that hung the banner. What happened was people seen them hanging the banner, so they got a hold of them, and they were getting a lot of heat. So they
passed the buck.
Yeah.
That, dude, I think that's illegal.
I do too. I'm actually digging into it some more, but it is public information though, because the permit I signed was submitted by the state, so it is public information there. But still, why Clarksville Light and Water?
Think about this though. Like, I saw somebody getting their driver's license ran on a body cam, and it blurred out their license.
True.
You know, so like I get that I get that you used your personal address.
Oh.
But. And like, man, even this business, dude, this business is private property.
Yeah.
Like, I've had a couple of cops like roll up here while like we were in the pandemic and we were in there training with the lights off, a couple of us hardcore guys. And they're like, hey, have you seen anybody over here? I was like, this is private property. No, sir. Yeah, we're not doing anything. We're not touching each other. We're 6 feet away. Private property. I haven't seen any fugitives.
Yeah.
But it's just like a weird deal. Like, that, and I view my business that way. You know, I'm just like, no, nobody needs to be coming around here that I don't really know about. That works for a city institution or something, or I don't know, dude. That's weird. Like, that's why I got my podcast moved here. I wouldn't have had a problem with you coming to my house. Anybody. I had like over 100 people come out to my house for a podcast, right? But that was one reason I wanted to get away. I'm like, if I ever had anybody break in and like the cops were like, who's been at your house in the last 6 months? I'd be like, here's a list of 62 names.
Yeah.
Like all these people. And it would just be impossible to even start thinking about something like that. Now I don't have to worry about as much. But man, that's wild to me. I would definitely.
I'm taking legal action for sure.
Do you know Brandon Halbert?
Don't know who that is.
Okay, he is somebody to know. He is from Clarksville. Mm-hmm. He is probably 6 years older than me. He's pushing 40. But he's like, comes to my family Christmases and shit. Growing up, his nickname, for some fucking reason, he does not like it. His nickname was Howdy. You ever hear of a dude named Howdy?
No, I haven't heard of it.
Well, he became an attorney, and he's my fucking attorney, dude. Cool. He's the guy, and like when he became an attorney, and now they have like 5 offices, right, like across the state. Wow. Wilson and Halbert.
I've heard of that.
WH Law is what they go by now.
Yeah.
You remember what's her name, Megan? Shorter girl. Yeah. She was his secretary for a long time.
Okay.
I don't think she is anymore. But dude, he formed my LLC for me. He's done he's specialized in like taxes and shit. So he's helped me a lot. Okay. But he is like the guy that I call. I'm like, I just recently called him about copyrights, and if he can't help me, he puts me with somebody that can. Right. They got multiple attorneys. But If you ever need a subtle legal question asked, I might hit him up about that.
Okay.
If you,
If you don't mind,
dude, because I can't fathom that, man. Like, what if somebody would have thought, if it was 1950, you would have got a burning cross in your yard?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's
what and actually I went in there and spoke to him. You know, the CEO of the Clarksville Light and Water, the one that did it the other day, and I brought that up, and I was like, hey man, you put more threat towards me than anybody else with this banner. Me putting the banner up, it was going to bring some type of backlash. I understand that, but you putting my information out there is bringing them people to me,
to your residence,
to my
where
residence,
your kids are,
where my kids are, where my wife is, where my mom is. She lives on our property. Where my sister is, she lives on our property. So, you know, you're bringing all these people out here. It's not just about me. You're hurting here. You're hurting, 9-10 more people. So, very frustrated, man. And I'm definitely looking for legal action.
Yeah, dude. That's insane to me.
Yeah,
I cannot like the fact that the city did it. Like, I'm just like, I was thinking some like I could see some pissed off redneck or something finding your address somehow and putting it out on social media. Like, that's when you said that, I was like, oh, I wonder if he could just like contact Facebook and get it. Yeah. But it's like, that's another level, dude.
Yeah, that's the city did it, man. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I had to buy some guns. Man, I've never owned a gun in my life, but I had to for this reason. Cameras, and I'm like, are you gonna pay for these? No, we're not going to. Well, why'd you put my information out there then? But,
yeah, dude, self-defense is so important. Absolutely. Not just like I'm stereotypical in that, like, as long I do knife defense, but I shoot, and I grew up hunting, like killed multiple deer when I was growing up. Yeah. But since then, I had a conceal license. I let it lapse so I could get my medical marijuana card. Okay. But I stereotypically am like, well, I could just beat your ass. Even if you had a knife, I could probably still beat your ass. I wouldn't want to. And if I had a gun, I could probably handle myself too, but I don't go train with it. Right. I train in here every fucking day, but I don't go to the range enough. Right. Like, we have a guy here that's a concealed instructor. He's the chief of campus, but I worked with him this morning at 6 a.m. every Sunday we work. But he even has a range, and I, like, all the time I'm like, dude, we gotta go. I gotta shoot. I'm worried. What if somebody kicks my door in? Like, I need to be able to shoot. Right. But that's just like anything, dude. If I ain't throwing my jab and I need to jab you in the face and I ain't been working on it, it may not work when I need it. Exactly. Same thing for shooting skills. Yeah. So good. There's a lot of good places to go shoot around Clarksville too. Yeah. They got that range up there past the lake. That's where my parents live. But yeah, man. So, have you had pretty good support from, like, has any of your family been like, what the fuck are you doing?
No, man.
No, they've been real supportive.
Everyone, man. I mean, I've had people I don't even know reach out. I mean, it's been the amount of support has been crazy, man.
I wish there would have been a more diverse crowd of support. That's what I was going to say earlier. I felt like it was people between your age and my age, and then a handful of others, right? That were, right. And I liked that, but I just, man, that there was like this anxiousness in the air and this nervous. I talked about it. Well, I was podcasting with these 3 historians about the Arkansas fight. I was like, guys, I'm going this march tomorrow. It's been on the news. Like, I might die. If I die, release this podcast. Like, I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. I thought I was going to die at the George Floyd protest, and it's a weird time.
Yes, it is, for sure.
What do you see happening with the election?
Oh man, I hate to say it, and I hope it doesn't happen, but
motherfuckers landing in a landslide is what I'm afraid of.
Yeah, me too. Just for the amount of support I see him all over, man. He's got Trump's got support, but I hope Biden wins this thing, pulls out of this, man, because we need change. We need it now, and even if Trump is for blacks as he says he is, man, he caused division. Just his name caused division. So he has to get out of office, man. He has to.
Yeah, it's going to be. I wonder what will happen if he wins. I wonder I wonder what will happen if he wins. I'm afraid of what happens if he loses.
Yeah.
And I'm also afraid of what happens if he wins. But that's more of a like, okay, things are going to be some weird way nobody's thought of if this dude wins.
Yeah.
And are things going to kind of sizzle out and we're going to go back to some sort of normalcy because we know in 4 years
it's over?
Well,
right.
Yeah. There is a lot of anxiousness around November right now, but dude, we're getting close.
Yes, we are. Just
September. It's mid-September right now.
Yeah.
6 weeks.
So, yeah, hopefully he's out of there though, man. That's the goal anyway, man.
I'm afraid that if he loses, that he will contest. Do you remember when you had been younger? Because I was younger, but when Bush and Gore. That was what was that? 2004, I think. But it was a big like. The next morning, nobody knew who had won. Still.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was like a couple weeks later before there was some issue. I can't remember all the details. Some issue with Florida, where George W. Bush's brother was the governor. Like the votes being tallied there, and it was a fuck show. But in all actuality, that's kind of like it was. There was something similar with Trump and Clinton and the popular vote versus electoral college last year. There was some controversy there, and
I remember that.
Dude, I'm too busy learning about the Civil War to know what's going on right now.
Really?
Too.
Yeah, I try not to pay too much attention to the election thing. I just know who I want to win.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. It's gonna be weird election this year.
Yes, it is.
So more diversity in all of these southern towns could take us a long ways. I think that everybody needs that is equal representation. Mm-hmm. But I don't know how we get that, man. Like it's going to take people like you doing what you're doing, I guess. Maybe you should. Here's what I hate, man. Because I almost got into politics while I was getting shafted by the city. And people tell me all the time, like, you need to run for city council. You need to run for justice of peace. And I'm like, I need to put out a podcast. Like, I don't need any extra responsibilities.
Right.
But I talked to those people. Like when they had a little special election for this 1 cent sales tax, I was talking to city council people. I was commenting on social media all over the place, letting my opinion be known, which is what I want to do. But I can't fathom being in politics myself personally, having a background in political science even. Yeah. You think you might ever get involved?
Man. I mean, running for council. Possibly, but nothing above that, though. You know, I definitely would like to be on board and give my opinion on some things.
You know, justice of the peace, I think, is a good spot. Do you know how that works?
No, I don't.
So this is just explained to me within the last couple of years, and I think I learned it in college, but I fucking forgot, dude. American government's fucking boring. So you have mayor, city council. You have county judge, justices of the peace. So think about a justice of the peace is a county city council person. Okay. And think about the county judge. Like they don't hear trials, like, nothing like that. They are like the mayor of the county.
Okay.
Right? Gotcha. So like county-wide issues. So Johnson County has a lot of rural communities like Woodland, Ludwig, Ozone, Oark, Hartman, Coal Hill, Harmony. Yeah, exactly. So that's like a countywide issue. So, but what's sad is like, man, I just live out here on this place called Pleasant View. It's kind of between Russellville and London. Kind of like back way connecting the two. And there's this dude running for justice of the peace. And I'm like, he's got signs all over my road. And I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Put your fucking signs on my road. But you can't realize that I own a $500,000 business in your district and come and talk to me and let me know what you stand for. Or like here's the thing, man, like it's a weird role to be in, but I'm definitely a guy to hit up about, like if I'm going to endorse a candidate, a lot of people will hear me talk about that.
Gotcha.
like I just get I get my word out a lot, whether
good.
it's so it's like, but it's weird to me that a candidate would not talk to their constituents. That I don't know who this dude is, I don't know what he stands for, but yet he's throwing signs all on my road asking me to vote for him, and I got to go do all this work because he doesn't. To figure out like, hey, dude, what do you stand for?
Yeah. You got to go out your way.
And part of that is like, dude, just what we're doing now is why I started a podcast. It's like, where's it? This dude, he put out some Facebook video and it was ghetto. Like, it was just, like, dude, like, what? Or do you have dip in your mouth? Like, it was weird. Like, I couldn't really understand what he was saying. And I was just like, I'm not voting for you. But it's like, if he was like, dude, let me come on your podcast and tell that's just it. Or let me go to River Valley Leader and, or let me run and like, I these people got to get into the digital space instead of just putting their sign in my.
Right, you got to know about them. Yeah, for sure. You got to know about them.
Yeah, I would say that you definitely, you just had a big platform, man.
Yeah.
What was that like? Did you feel a lot of weight?
Yes, I did. Man, I'm still just coming down from it all, man. This past week, even at work.
Where you work at?
I work at ABB in Fort Smith.
Oh, damn, dude. I had no idea you were driving from Fort Smith. Yeah. What is ABB?
We build motors, electrical motors.
Okay.
The old Baldor.
Clarksville. Yeah.
Same thing.
Okay.
Just kicked us out and moved us to Fort Smith. So.
Did they? Oh, wow.
Yeah, went out of business. But even
I know one of my guys works for that company, but maybe in Ozark. Do they
Ozark,
have
yeah. They got one in Ozark. Yeah,
he's like a boss, too.
Oh, okay, cool. But,
yeah, dude, I had no idea. Thanks for taking the time.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, dude, and honestly, like, I wouldn't have cared you bringing your kids with you.
Yeah, I just didn't want them running around, man.
Yeah, but like, if the gym would have been open, I would have been like, or somebody could have watched them or something. Throw them in there, let them have fun.
Right.
And here I got like, breakable shit.
I hear you.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how. I'm Corey and I are trying to conceive, so I don't even know what it's like having kids.
Dude. Yeah, it's fun, man.
Yeah,
very fun experience.
How many kids you got?
I have 5 total.
Holy shit!
Yeah, total. I have 3 at home. We lost one with the whole case thing, and then I have one with another lady. You might know her, Paige Evans, Victoria Paige.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I know her. No.
Yeah. Anyways, she's from Dardanelle area. She used to live here, but we have one with her as well.
Cool. So, yeah. 5 kids. What's that? That keep you busy, huh?
For sure.
Dude, I'm like, how's this one kid gonna keep me so busy, man? Like, I'm saying, you got 5, dude.
Keep you going, man. But you gotta love it, man. It's great being a father. It's great.
How old's your oldest?
6. Well, Cameron, with Paige, he's 10. But my oldest living with me, the one I get to see the most, is 6.
Okay.
She's 6.
Yeah. Did they have any weird questions about all this stuff? Did you tell them what was going on?
No, I don't really get into it much with them. Just let them know that, hey, your life matters. Black lives matter, and I do want them to get that message embedded in their brain. They need to know that.
Dude, I worry about the world my future kid that I'm trying to conceive right now is going to grow up in. Like, I worry about all sorts of weird shit. Like, I told my wife the other day, she was thinking about something, and I was like, I'm worried about how I'm going to explain death to him. Like, shit. Like, fuck. Like, hey, we're all going to die someday. Let me explain it to you.
Yeah.
I'm going to die. You're probably going to see me die. You'll probably be alive after I die, and it's going to suck for you. But, like, what do you say?
Yeah.
But, like, imagine, like, explaining racism to your kid.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I want my child to grow up with us being better about that. Mm-hmm. And I can't imagine.
Cool.
This is one of the most powerful things I've run across is, and I've heard people say this. I've seen it on social media. I've seen people make memes out of it. It's like, why I ask that question is you're going to have some conversations, and I'll have similar conversations with my kid.
Right.
But I'm never going to have the certain type of conversation. Maybe you handle it differently than what I'm thinking. But about like somebody uses a racial slur towards your child.
Yeah, or just walking in the store, man. Having people look at you, expecting you to steal something. You got to keep your hands out of your pocket. There's a lot of things. It's not just the word, the N word. It it's way beyond that, man. We got to deal with it.
Dude, I can't remember if I heard her say it on a video or why Cora showed it to me, but Whitney, who helped you with the rally, right?
Yeah.
She's like,
by the way.
I've been called the N-word so many times, I forgot my name was Whitney.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was funny.
That's crazy.
The way she said it, because she was like, I was like, but so, like, but damn. Like, for real, though. Like, it is for real. Like, she was like making it, like, that's the kind of spirit I like. The way she's making it was like, I can get behind how you put that, and people need to hear that because I can't. That was, I think, actually maybe a good thing that went on. Sucks, but people realize that was the positive, negative propaganda that came out. Is that people were there flying Confederate shit, dropping in bombs, making themselves look like racist pieces of shit that they are. And I thought that was good. Yeah. I thought like, hey, way to ask yourself out.
Yeah, for sure. Way to put yourself out there. Yeah.
Because we are, I'm gonna tell you, dude, I will not tolerate. If somebody was in here was racist, I would cancel their membership immediately.
Cool.
And dude, it goes on.
Good people, I can tell.
It goes, but that's like it's a narrative in the jiu-jitsu community right now. Like, I'm in all these groups. I share my videos in there. So, and people are like, this dude right here, here's this video of him in a grocery store saying that to this person here. And it's like, people call it cancel culture or whatever. I'm like, yeah, let me cancel this dude. What if I was on, like, I can't, if we were going to do jiu-jitsu together, I'd be like, dude, Wes, I trust you not to hurt me. I'm going to try to teach you to get better, and I'm not going to hurt you either because I want you to not get hurt. Right. If you get hurt, you won't get better. Like, let's just try and not hurt each other on this armbar when we do it, right? Like, I'll be looking for you to tap, and there's just like a weird trust, and it's like I can't trust somebody that's racist.
Yeah.
Like, that's a whole other level of like depravity for me. It's like you're a lower functioning human being, like, but yet what's weird is like I like having these conversations. I get to think it out. It's like, how are smart people racist? Like intellectuals. Like I know some intellectual people are fucking racist. And that blows my mind. I'm like, because you know what made me more empathetic was knowledge, education, and then talking to people.
Yeah. Dialogue's great.
Yeah. You think you got any plans for the future? Like what are you guys doing moving forward?
Actually, we kind of broke the whole Black Lives Matter down to another platform. We're trying to get away from the organization, so we created a group called United Diversity League on Facebook. So we're trying to get away from the whole Black Lives Matter organization, period, because we don't stand for everything they stand for. I mean, no matter what, you ain't always gonna stand for the person you support. But that's where we're at with it. We're trying to, do food drives. I
saw some of that. Yeah,
be more involved in the community and let people know what we're about in the community. Still trying to push the Black Lives Matter agenda, but not with the name behind it. So,
yeah, that's good. You're doing that. I saw the something about the food drive, and I think you invited me to like the page and stuff. I'll share that in the link when I put the video out.
Please do.
That's good. That is activism, man. Like Cora and I have a nonprofit, and we do different things with it. We help kids that they could never train. We use it to purchase equipment for people. Awesome. We'll pay somebody to, like, we have certain classes that are free. So we'll pay somebody to teach one of the classes that's free. Well, we have to have money to do that, and we raise money through the nonprofit to pay the person that teaches the class for free. Like, or we get somebody to volunteer, or there's different things we're doing, but it's
are doing a good job, man.
Well, thanks, dude. Well, dude, that's just like what I think you got to do is like with me, I just tried to create my own personal world the way I wanted it to be, which is a world that has a lot of these things we're talking about, right? Yeah. Like, and then too, what's cool is like between everything I do at the university, man, those motherfuckers gotta listen to me, right? Yeah. Like, I'm like, let me tell you about the lost cause myth. Yeah. This true history. You cannot refute it. Here are the sources. But then the podcast, the gym, all this other shit I'm involved with. Put my gym I do YouTube for is got like about 700 videos.
Oh, wow.
But really YouTube is not. I'm getting closer to monetization for the gym on YouTube, but YouTube is a slow trickle to grow these days.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But I'm doing all this by myself too. You know.
You're doing a good job.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, you will.
Okay, so are you related to Quinn Foster?
No, I'm not.
Do you know who that is?
Yeah, I do know who
Okay,
Quinn
he
is.
came on the podcast.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I like what you're doing. Come talk to me about it.
Yeah.
I was like, because dude, he was at every protest. At like he was showing up everywhere all the time,
Awesome.
and I was like, dude, I want to talk to this guy.
Yeah. So, I do know of him. Never really met him, but
yeah, I didn't know he was from Russellville because I saw him like he was all over the region, like Springfield, Harrison, Zinc, all these places, and I was like, oh, dude, you're from Russellville? Okay, cool, awesome. Yeah. Well, anything else you got planned? You want to hit on? We can just go ahead and wrap it up, dude. Feel free to come back anytime. I will probably hit you up to come back, especially if I see you doing stuff or you have an event you want to talk about, or you're doing a food
I
drop.
love the platform, so definitely get me back.
Right on.
Get us out there.
And I'm real flexible on these times too. Because we plan to do this. There's no issue whatsoever. I don't want you to have to worry about anything. Come down here, and I will try and work with you. So it's a convenient time.
Awesome.
So, because dude, I'm so fucking busy too, man. I get it.
I bet you are.
I don't even have kids, dude. That's why I'm like sitting here about the one kid thing.
Nah, you'll be all right, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, dude, thanks for your time.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Thanks for what you're doing.
Absolutely. What we're doing. But
yeah, it's a communal effort without being communist. Yes. Communal effort. It is. It's going to take a village. It's going to take allies. Yes. It's going to take people like you, people like me, raising awareness on the history. Yes. Like, I think that conversation like these, and then this historian was on last week goes, there was this guy in my driveway fixing my air conditioner, and I told him all the stuff that Brian and Wesleigh just talked about, and he came back later and told me he got rid of his Confederate flag, and it blew his mind about all this stuff.
Goal, man.
And when he told me that, it blew my mind, because usually, unless I find somebody that's a non-racist, it's like, everything you're saying is great.
Yes. Usually
I say any of the shit I said to you today, people are like, you need to shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, this dude's talking about like things that don't line up with my being.
Right.
And it's like, oh, you mean equality for all people?
For all people. That's all it's about, man.
Yeah.
That's all it's about.
Well, dude, stay safe out there.
Absolutely.
If I can help you in any way, let me know.
It's appreciate you, man.
Been great. I appreciate you coming on.
Man. Yeah.
Right on, dude. Well, let's wrap it up, man.
Awesome.
Oh, dude.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, man.